Pick segment tonight. 10 days ago, 91-year-old World War II veteran Leonard Sims was brutally beaten in Detroit. Police say 22-year-old Deontay Bradley was trying to carjack Mr. Sims, okay? And over again, he punches him. You can see what Bradley is doing to this 91-year-old man. Now, what makes the story even more disturbing is that some people stood around, look at them, just watching this happen, all right? Finally, the old man goes to the ground. Bradley drives away with his Chevy Malibu. Police catch the assailant a short time later. He was not armed. So what do you do if you were there in that circumstance? Joining us now from Washington, Fox News crime analyst Rod Wheeler.
Hi, Bill.
You know, I know it's hard. This is a thug, but it's a 91-year-old man, and these people, they're watching what goes on over there. Is it enough to call 911, or do you got to go up? You know, there's 4 or 5 of these people and say, we got to take care and stop this. And what do you do?
Well, it's about time that people in certain communities, especially communities like this one, where this 91-year-old Army veteran was literally beaten to a pulp, get involved and put a stop to some of this. You know, you can't expect the police to...
You're saying that these people watching this should put themselves in physical jeopardy because this is a thug. They don't know if the thug's armed.
That's right.
The thug could have a gun or a knife. They don't know.
That's right.
But you're saying that if it were you and you were there with some of your buddies, you would have gone over and you would have stopped it.
Absolutely. You know, we have to get involved in these kinds of situations, Bill. As citizens, we have to get involved because if we don't, these situations will continue. Now, the biggest fear, though, Bill, let me just tell you, the biggest fear amongst the spectators was the fact that they didn't know if this guy had a weapon or not.
Yeah, but they're just milling around. They're scared. Look at that. Look, they're just standing around. They're all guys.
Right. And,
so,
you know,
they're all guys. There's a big guy there. You figured that they would come over and say, hey, you know, what are you doing? And they don't care. Now, go ahead.
You know, they even had cell phones. I mean, some of the spectators had cell phones.
Well, we don't know if they called or not, but that's not the point. This guy could have been killed. Easy.
That's right.
Easy. And you're standing there and you're going like this, and the guy's getting beaten. This just makes me furious. But I understand there's another side to this situation, that people don't want to put themselves in jeopardy for a stranger, and this guy obviously is a thug, and he's a dangerous thug. But is it different now, in your opinion? You know, you're a detective for a lot of years. Is it different now in 2007 than, say, 25 years ago? Do we have more apathy in our society because we see stuff like this all the time on the media?
We have a lot more apathy. We also have a lot more, you know, folks are just complacent, if you will. They just don't want to get involved. They're somewhat immune to it. They see it every day in certain communities, and they just simply don't want to get involved. It's not worth it for them to get involved. And years ago, people would have gotten involved. People would have definitely been involved. But nowadays, Bill, let me tell you, it's far and few between that people will actually get involved in a situation like this. If anything, they'll just maybe call the police, and then oftentimes they don't even do that.
You know, I hate to think that that's what's going on in America. And I'm going to generalize, and I can't prove it, but I think in an urban center like Detroit, which is just full of this kind of stuff, D.C., New York City, Chicago, you have a different sensibility than you would out in the heartland or in the South or in rural areas where if this happened in a small town, I think you would probably have a more aggressive approach to righting the wrong. But in the big city, people have become so desensitized to this because they see it on media, as I mentioned, every night. And they almost think it's a video game. They almost think it's a movie. It's not a real person getting pummeled. But I'll tell you what, if we continue down this road, Detective, it's going to really damage our country.